You remember that show Fernwood Tonight?
Oh, yeah.
No.
On their very first episode, Martin Mull and Fred Willard. It's one of the funniest.
It's hilarious.
Shows. It's this fake talk show. They did it in the 70s.
It was a spinoff from Mary Hartman.
Yes, it was.
Is that really
yeah.
the 70s?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah, it was a
And
spinoff.
Norman Lear, and just brilliant. So they, on their very first episode, and it's set in Fernwood, Ohio, this little town. It's a local, like,
Right.
hello, Fernwood. So their first guest, it's called Meet. It's like Meet a Jew, and what the premise is: a Jewish guy was speeding through Fernwood, so they were going to give him a ticket. And they go, hey, if you don't want to pay the ticket, if you'll come on this show so the town of Fernwood can see a Jew, you don't have to pay the ticket. And he clearly just went, yeah, fine. So he comes out, and Fred Willard and Martin Mull are so genius at being trying to be the open liberal guys that are just saying the most offensive stuff. So they're just like, so what's Barbara Streisand up to? Like, what's she doing? And he goes, well, I don't know what her next project is. I've always enjoyed her. And then Fred Willard goes, you guys must be so proud of her. So then they got all these letters from the ACLU and the League of Catholic Bishops. Like, that was the most offensive, racist, there's just horrible, kicking down and blah, blah, blah. Then they get a letter from the Anti-Defamation League going, we loved that.
Wow.
That was the funniest shit you've ever seen. So they just forwarded the letter to all the other groups that were offended.
Now, yeah, because that could shut them right up.
Yeah,
It
exactly.
should shut them right up.
Yeah, the people, again, it's the white knight shit.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I love
Coming
that.
to the rescue. I got to fucking find some of those shows because
How long was it on?
They were really funny.
It was on for a couple
few
of years.
years
I mean,
back
it was
in the
on
70s.
nightly, and they would riff the whole show. I mean, they had a basic outline, but guests would come on, and Martin Mull and Fred Willard. You can watch some segments on YouTube. I don't know why that, like, Criterion or something hasn't put out every single episode because it's amazing.
And then who was that? Frank Duvall?
Hang on. Happy Kind and the Mirth Makers.
Happy Kind and the Mirth Makers was his band.
Are the band, and this guy, Happy Kind, looked like the most suicidal.
Yes.
These giant headphones.
And he was a music guy for many years for television shows. Like everything you ever hear on, like, the Brady Bunch.
Yeah.
And
that's that guy.
That's that guy. He wrote all that music. And that's the guy they got to be the band for the show.
And they have people coming
You
on.
want to see a clip, don't you?
Yeah, or just see some of it. Yeah, we
got to get someone in here to show
He'll
a clip.
come back in. There's a great clip where a guy comes on and he's talking about he's trying to get rid of all of the racist stuff from the 20s and 30s where they would have, like, black people caricatures and this is just really bad, and I'm just trying to get rid of it. And then Fred Willard's like, I know, I mean, except the guys with the big eyes, those were funny. They're like, he's trying to keep, like, one thing that he likes, and again, being so, like, again, I totally agree with you, but
great.
they would agree with him in a way that was so offensive and clueless.
Yes.
Which clip should we try to find?
Fernwood Tonight.
Fernwood Tonight. There might even be the first episode. I don't know.
Yeah, god damn. What a strange little show.
Yeah. And it's now, like, I went to a thing at the DGA where they had a reunion talking to them, and people were saying, would you ever bring that back? And Martin Mull's like, how do we out-parody stuff
What's
that's on
really
now?
out there?
How do we top it?
You
Like, back
can't.
then, we could seem crazy. Now it would just seem normal.
Yeah.
Put Jew in there.
Yeah.
Put
honestly, yeah.
Jew.
'Cause
There you
that's
go.
Martin Mull was like the host, and
Fred Willard was
Fred Willard was like his sidekick.
And just so cool.
Fred Willard is hilarious, man.
Yes.
Fuck, is he funny? Best in show when he's doing the announcements of the dog show. He's just hilarious.
Where's Dr. Go up to the top there. Try that one. Is that it?
Find these.
Sit down. Thanks, Happy. Our next guest is an eminent anthropologist and sociologist from Southern Ohio University, right here in Southern Ohio. That's where we got the name. Why waste time on a name? That's what I say. He's been doing some studies on the causes of racial prejudice, and probably about the best in the field. Please welcome Dr. Emmanuel Kaczynski.
Awful music.
Yeah.
It's terrible.
They play like this Jewish klezmer music to bring them out. They're talking about races.
How are you? Welcome to the show.
Well, We're pretty lucky to have you here. Doctor, can you explain a little bit about your research?
Well, Barth, America, as we all know, is famous as a melting pot. Many diverse ethnic groups have been thrown together suddenly, and this leads to bigotry and name-calling. The origins of various racial prejudices are what we are trying to put an end to and stop stereotyping once and for all.
There's probably too much of that, more than we even need.
That's up for grabs, I think. So you studied various nationalities just to find out, you know, how people become prejudiced against them. Is that it?
Exactly. All races are alike. We are all the same.
Does that apply like to the Dago also? What I'm saying is, you know, it's all
yes, I think
all
I
encompassing.
Well, let us start with the Italians. After examining the bone structure of the Italians and various other people, we find the only differences between their bodies and the other races was in the knuckle and fist area. We found that the bones were developed broader and heavier and stronger, and we found the musculature of the upper arm and shoulder was much bigger and much better developed. The fists and arms of Italians are designed for hitting. Italians enjoy hitting.
Yeah, is this the only feature that really separates Italians from perfectly normal people?
Yes. I'd say that, and a definite tendency towards overweight. Their weight problem is probably a subconscious one, but it is harder to dispose of a body in a car trunk or a barrel if it's fat. Now, this is a recurring nightmare with many Italians, and it may explain all the hitting. You know?
Absolutely. So in other words, fists and a desire to hit, and a large stomach and a large body, really large fist, large body would be the main, the only differences between, as I said before, normal people and Italians.
Yes, and also their inability to learn English. Tests show that Italian tongues are thick at the back, you see, and this causes a strain on the throat muscles and gives them a definite tendency to speak in monosyllables and grunt a lot.
I'll be darned. What did your studies show about other groups? Why zero in just on the...
Well, that's strange you should ask, but we studied the electrocardiographs of our Jewish friends and tried to learn about the Jewish aversion to alcoholic beverages.
They don't drink a lot, do they?
No, Jewish people don't like to drink. But we...
They're afraid they'll have to pick up a tab.
If I single out tab, could be a Diet Pepsi. Could be a Diet Pepsi just as easily.
Ah, that was very funny. Yes.
Or Fresca.
No, I'm joking because we
Have
do
nothing against tab.
Yeah.
Nothing
We did have a
against
Jewish
tab.
person on the show earlier, and I think we all came to know his type of people a little better, and I think we're all a little
Absolutely.
richer for it, too.
Oh, well.
So what did you find?
Well, all that strictly toward one side. We discovered that when Jewish people are drinking and the glass is half empty, you see, the rim of the glass comes to rest against the bridge of the nose, and the magnitude of the nose acts as an obstacle to drinking and as a deterrent.
It's not so much they don't want to drink, they simply can't drink.
Exactly right.
Physical problem as opposed to a mental or any religious or moral.
Okay, doctor. But how about the Irish? Now, they're known as really big drinkers. Now, how would you explain that?
Well, the Irish, you see, they drink more because they have little tiny noses, and also they are totally insensitive to embarrassment.
Little Irish nose.
Another question, why do they wear green so much, or does it just seem that way?
No, that's a very good question. You see, the Irish are basically a bunch of bog-trotting potato farmers. And, they see green grass and they figure, why fight it?
Just the opposite of the Italians, of course, who would love to fight it.
Absolutely. At the drop of a pizza.
That's great. Well, very interesting. What other peoples have you studied? What have you found?
Well,
Again,
the
this was
Chinese,
on every
you
night.
see.
This is
Now, this is
amazing,
very fascinating because you see the skin of the Chinese, and particularly in the area of the hands and the palms, is highly water resistant, which gives Chinese people a much higher tolerance for doing laundry.
Could you imagine trying to get this on
I
today?
understand that shortly after making that
think
study, you had to go back and
pieces
restudy it again.
on this would be endless. The internet would melt down if this was on.
No, wait a second.
And again, it's just.
What about Japs now?
Please, you are referring to the Japanese people. We studied them. We took a group of Japanese babies and put a bush in their playpen. One by one, they began pruning the bush. And several of them actually began trying to hide behind it. We also found that the Japanese enjoy the feel of leather and straps around their necks, which explains why they enjoy wearing cameras and binoculars.
Well, send a little flight bags, of course, around the arm. Absolutely. You see that everywhere. I'm kind of curious, what about, let's say, well, I don't think we've touched on the Latin and Spanish people. We've had an influx of them lately. What do you think of them?
Well, you see, the Latin and the Spanish people exhibit a trait we call proximity desirability. Now, this is the need to be near others of their own kind. Now, we found that their houses are smaller, but their families are bigger, you see, and this may account for greater numbers of Latin people who live in, say, the same basement or ride all in the same old beat-up Chevy.
Doctor, these are absolutely fascinating findings, and I'm curious. I'm sure it's been a long time. How long have you been involved in these studies here?
Almost 6 months.
Of course, really the last 3 months being the heavy part. The first part was getting the office together, of course. I guess the ultimate question I have to ask you, what nationality are you?
I am Polish.
I don't need to tell you, I'm sure it's not news that a lot of people have told Polish jokes, you know, and I could tell you some right now, but I'd have to tell them kind of slowly, wouldn't I?
I don't understand that.
Okay. No,
The straight-faced deadpan.
Poland.
Perfect.
I read the paper every day, try to get international paper. Saw where a large hole appeared in Warsaw, and they said the police were looking into it.
What did they find?
But seriously, the Polish people have long been the brunt of some really cruel jokes, I think, and I just wonder, what are your findings in that area?
Well, I have done a lot of studies on my people, and all of our research indicates that Polish people tend to be bright, perceptive, and highly intelligent.
Well, Dr. Kaczynski, you certainly are a living testimony of your own people, and I wish we could meet a couple more people like you. In fact, if we had 3 of you like you, we could change this light bulb. Appreciate you coming by, and we'll be right back after this important word.
Oh, shit. That's great.
There we go. Fernwood Tonight. For the people that are just tuning in.
Do they do blacks too?
Yeah, I noticed that they didn't go with the blacks in that.
I
skit.
think because it's so obvious to go with the black thing that they just went with every other one.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But still, that would be.
We'd never play today.
Should we laugh at this? Like, is this
right? Oh my God! Now this is
this. Why can't we?
I demand Martin Mull apologize for.
Who was the guy doing
funny shit.
The guy. Why it was Norman Lear and
the guy on the couch.
That I don't know.
Guy.
He's a character actor that I've seen in a lot of stuff.
He had great timing. Man.
Just dead.
He was
and you're like
amazing.
deadpan.
Their guests were always like that. You never really knew who they were.
Yeah,
they were character actors. They'd sit there and just be funny. The deadpan is great. You know.
Well, yeah, they had character actors, or they had actors that now are huge, but back then,
weren't.
So like Robin Williams would come on as different people, and Jim Varney before he was
right.
Ernest came on as.
I see. What's his name there from Spinal Tap?
So Harry Shearer.
Harry Shearer.
All those guys kind of came on then, so you sort of saw the beginnings of that. But that was like every night, half an hour. Just
I'm going to be in a Fernwood Tonight.
I know now.
Yeah,
I'm gonna have to watch some of those. That's great.
I'm going to get stuck on YouTube today.
Did some crazy stuff.
Yeah. Wow, very cool. Patton, what are you doing in town, by the way? You got the Webby Awards?
Yeah,
you're hosting that.
I'm hosting the Webby Awards again.
Ooh.
It's awards for stuff on the internet.
Well,
yeah.